This offense is maddening. Oh, by the way, CJ Kafis banged his knee last night. He's not coming up anytime soon. Chase DeLauter continues to hit the baseball. And who needs that kind of help? They have standards that they have to maintain right now, and that is not scoring runs. By the way, since June 1st, the Guardians are 6-21, and they are the lowest scoring team in Major League Baseball.
Daryl, what a treat it would be for all the fans that are going to go down to the ball yard later tonight for the fireworks and the 4th of July festivities. And it is such a American holiday and an American sport, America's pastime being baseball. Wouldn't it be a treat for that sold out ballpark who has just lost 7 straight in a row
for them to score 3 runs?
Call up Chase DeLauter today. Call him up today and give the fans a little bit of a treat. Give the people a little bit of a dog bone for going and sitting out there in the heat later tonight to watch this ball team, because there's no reason for the fans to be invested in Cleveland Guardians baseball right now at all. Last night was the perfect example of that. It was 0-0 going into extra innings. Starting pitching for the Guardians, quite literally perfect. Bullpen for the Guardians, quite literally perfect. You get into extras. You lose 1-0, and it's like, well, what are you supposed to do? You know, you can't rely on your starting pitching to be that perfect for 12 straight innings. The offense is just laughable.
They can't even score when they're given a runner at second base for free.
No.
Did not have to walk and steal second. No, you got the runner at second for free.
I wonder what their record would be this year if they got the ghost runner at second base to start every single inning. Like, not just extra innings, but like start of the game. Angel Martinez standing on second base, Steven Kwan up to base, up to the plate to start the game. What would their record be? I don't know that it would be far off from what it is now, because the team is so inconsistent. They have no clutch gene at all. And it is just a frustrating brand of baseball to watch.
And also, you know, since getting hit last week, and none of his teammates doing anything to protect him, Jose's in a little bit of a slump all of a sudden too.
Yeah.
And it's contagious. It really is.
Okay, Jarvis.
I mean, it really is. And, you know, I'm not going to say that that's the reason why. I mean, he did get drilled in the forearm. They had to take x-rays. He had to miss a game or two to let it calm down. But I don't think it's a coincidence that over these last 7 games, for the most part, with the exception of an inning or two here or there, this team has looked lifeless. They have looked absolutely lifeless. Not the pitching staff. Pitching's not the problem here. Okay? And, okay, you'll point to the 9-6 loss to the Cardinals where they were up 6-1 and they blew that lead. But by and large, since June 1st, pitching's not been the problem. It's been the offense. It's been the offensive approach. It's been the inability just to get someone on, let alone try and get them over and get them in. Like, just base runners. Can we get base? They got 3 hits last night.
And it's like, yeah, that's boring. People don't want to see that. And you mentioned this Jose Ramirez slump. To me, it goes to show just how important Jose Ramirez is to this team. And what would this team look like? What would the state of Cleveland baseball be in if the Guardians didn't completely luck out and have Jose Ramirez agree to that team-friendly deal? Because we're seeing what the Guardians would look like in a world where that third base slot isn't giving you much contribution, because Jose is in a little bit of a slump ever since he got hit. It's a scary thought to think, because without Jose, there's not many major league bats on this roster. It's really 2 right now. It's Steven Kwan and Jose Ramirez. And you've got Carlos Santana, the vet who's been around and will probably get moved at the deadline. Same with Lane Thomas. The rest of the batting order, though, are guys that candidly wouldn't be everyday Major League Baseball players in other organizations.
I'm going to read you some
good organizations.
just to rub some salt in the wound here, I'm going to read some batting averages for you.
Oh.
Because you're not going to see him at the ballpark tonight.
Should we guess? I weigh like 180 some pounds. We should guess how many of these batting averages are above or below my weight. Because
okay, I got
Austin Hedges, Bo Naylor.
I got 5 guys that played last night. I weigh more than their batting average. And if anyone has seen me, yeah, okay. Stephen Kwan, 295, should be an all-star. Manzardo, 224. Hosey's at 297, even with this slump. Okay, he was hitting around close to 340. Now he's down to 297. Carlos Santana's at 240. Lane Thomas, 163. So there's no value there. I don't know why anyone would run him. Nolan Jones is hitting 218. Daniel Schneemann. Love the name Daniel Schneemann. But he's hitting 222. Bo Naylor hitting 169. Brian Rocchio, a little unfair here. Not a lot of time up here. He's at $1.63. David Fry back from elbow surgery. Very limited at bats and pinch hit DH roles here. He's at $1.60.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, he's eating not one roster spot, but 2 because he can't play a position.
And then the clubhouse cheerleader, because that's really all he does, and it's pretty much his job. Austin Hedges, he's at 107. So, and these are guys that played last night. You can't win like that. You're not going to generate much of anything. And when you get Cantillo goes, gets you into the 4th inning, 3 1/3, and it turns into a bullpen game from there. And you ultimately give up 1 run on 3 hits, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. That is a game you absolutely should win. Unfortunately, you, as an offense, collected 7 hits. You ended up walking 3 times. So you had 10 base runners last night, and you weren't able to do anything with it. Like, that's what's frustrating is even when they have opportunity, when they're able to create opportunity, they still can't come through. It's frustrating. I don't know how Guardians fans, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm going to go to the ballpark tonight. It's been a little while since I've been to the park, so I'm going tonight. I'll go tomorrow.
I think I'll be there tomorrow as well.
But and I'll give Stephen Vogt credit. We didn't get any of that. Well, we're really playing hard. We're just so close to click. We didn't get any of that from Stephen Vogt last night. Didn't get any of that. Actually, really didn't get any meaningful sound from Stephen Vogt last night. But they're stuck in quicksand because I feel like that it's not an effort thing. They're trying. But I feel like the harder they try, the deeper they're sliding.
And as people that have to watch, the game every single night, because this is part of our jobs, it's therapeutic to come in here and open the show and blow off a little bit of steam because we're frustrated, just like the fans out there that are frustrated that this is a team that made the American League, championship series last year. And we're 3 wins away from a World Series. And now you're losers of 7 straight. You're completely floundering in the American League Central standings. You could throw the Central Division in the garbage, especially if Detroit comes to town this weekend and takes care of you. You could wrap up the division, and the wild card is seemingly slipping further and further away by the day. But I think what Guards fans and what we need to get into, Daryl, want to know is well, how can this be repaired? How can this be any closer to what it was last year? Guards ball is seemingly missing. It's seemingly gone. And I think the fans are looking for an answer of where do we go from here?
Teeing things off this morning with the Guardians, who got shut out in Chicago in extra innings last night. 1-0. They lose on a sacrifice fly. Emmanuel Clase has to take the bad luck losses, I like to call it. The Guardians had left another small village on the base paths. They still can't score. I'm scoring more than they are these days. I weigh more than half the team's batting averages. That is not a good thing. It's real bleak right now, and they got a sellout crowd that they get to play in front of this evening. It is fireworks night, obviously 4th of July. Guardians do a great job with the fireworks, but I'm guessing, Nick, pretty much everyone's going for fireworks tonight. They are not going to watch baseball.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a late arriving crowd tonight, I wouldn't blame Cleveland baseball fans. I think that's another piece of what has hurt me so bad about this season, because I've been out to a good handful of games, and even the games you watch on TV, like, the fans are doing their part. Those blue seats have butts in them, and fans want to get up for this team. Like, fans remember that just a short couple of months ago, we were cheering on this team to get past the New York Yankees to punch a ticket back to the World Series. Like, the fans are looking for a reason to get back into Guardians baseball. And right now, the team isn't showing up for them. Like, the fans are doing their part. We're putting the extra $1.50 for peppers and onions on our hot dogs for the Stephen Kwan Fund. And the piper isn't being paid on the other side. We're not being rewarded with wins. So I'm, of course, happy that it's another sold out crowd tonight. And 4th of July crowds are always a lot of fun. And the fireworks show after the game, I'm sure, will be spectacular. I'm sure it'll be another big crowd tomorrow for the Larry Doby celebration and Larry Doby Day and his bobblehead tomorrow. But in large, I don't know that the Guardians are even deserving of these big crowds that they're putting out every single weekend, because the product on the field has been really bad. And it's not just that it's been bad, but because of the lack of offense and because of the lack of consistency to do anything with the bats, it's become boring. And I think as an entertainment product, the last label that you ever want is boring. Like, say what you will about the Cleveland Browns over the last 2 decades, hardly ever boring.
Wow. Yes, they do find ways to lose in entertaining fashion. You have to give them that. Yeah, I don't know that losing in extra innings at Wrigley Field on a sacrifice fly, I don't know that I would consider that an entertaining loss.
Oh, 1-0 sack fly in extra innings. I think there were people around Cleveland, probably people around Chicago as well, having a hard time keeping their eyes open last night.
Well, it's a good thing it's a 7:10 first pitch tonight, because they're able to play these games in rather rapid fashion. And at least the sun should be set when it's over. So the fireworks, because I've actually, with the new pitch clock, there've actually been a couple of games on firework nights where they have had to wait.
They had to kill time. They do a great job. Like, shout out, my one of my good friends in life, Gab Cruz, has to go down there, and on the fly, Daryl, she just has to think of trivia games and different things to throw together to wait for the sun and the moon to kind of do their thing up in the sky and get dark outside. Gab has to just get in her bag of tricks to entertain the crowd while they wait for it to get dark out there.
I saw a survey somewhere this week. The Guardians were voted one of the best ballpark experiences in baseball, which I think is really cool.
And I think that it is.
Clearly, they weren't judging the actual team. But
oh, come on. You mean to tell me that they haven't, whoever put that out hadn't seen a couple Bo Naylor at bats in their day? But no, it is. Like, that's what's so frustrating, man, is because the organization at large, the organization as a whole is 90% of the way there. They're so close. Like, the ballpark is cool. I've had the luxury and the privilege to travel around to a bunch of different MLB ballparks, and Cleveland is right up there because of all of the different eats that they got in there, all the different spots to sit, the different spots to stand. The ballpark itself is phenomenal. The experience is top notch. The in-game production is amazing. The games and things that they do during the inning breaks, phenomenal. But you get into what feels like these stretches every year, whether the season is successful or not. And right now we're doing this thing where they're on again, off again. They'll have a playoff season and then they'll take a year completely off. And it seems like we're in a completely off year right now. But man, you go through these stretches where you see the consequences of a team that has a really low pace.
By the way, I have to compliment you. You got the Carl Spackler look going today.
Went with the Jose Ramirez bucket hat. You know, like the thing with this hat though,
You're hoping it's going to bring them good luck tonight?
Maybe this is. I haven't worn this hat yet this year. So if the Guardians win tonight, maybe in large thanks to this hat.
What is their record with you wearing that
I'm not
hat?
sure. I'm not sure. I don't wear it very. I'm
See,
not.
This is where you got to have the if you're gonna wear that stuff, you got to have a uniform tracker.
Yeah, I'm not bucket hat guy though, and the thing is,
I don't know. I don't know. You're pulling it off pretty good over there.
Well, today's a festive day, you know, like 4th of July, and I rolled out of bed. I'm like wearing the most neutral outfit ever. Like I look like I hate this country. Like
I got my
Captain America shirt on. Like Daryl, you're fitting the theme. Like I didn't have anything going on theme, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll go Jose Ramirez bucket hat. Try to get some sort of good mojo and good momentum. But the thing about this hat, and I have a big head, it squeezes my cranium. Like maybe that's why I'm a little bit more chipper than I would be at 8 a.m. on most mornings, because typically not up doing radio at this time.
You're having your cranium crushed by your bucket hat?
Yeah, this bucket hat is kind of tight.
I had my eardrums crushed last night by all the fireworks going off.
Dude, it's brutal out here in the fireworks streets. I live a little bit of a nomadic lifestyle. I've lived in 3 different places the last 3 different 4th of Julys. And boy, every year I forget just how much my dog hates this holiday.
You know what's really so if you're going to the Guardians game tonight, so some advice for you. If the game is running long and it's dark out and it's boring, and the only reason you're still hanging around is for the fireworks show, I recommend going to the upper deck concourse and just looking out to Lakewood and down south toward Independence, and you get to see all the fireworks displays. I've done that a few times over the years. It really is the coolest thing to see when you can watch all the displays going off around the region, and you can do it from the concourse of the upper deck at the ballpark.
I used to live down here, like down in the warehouse district, and we had a little rooftop. You know, I don't know even what you want to call it, a rooftop deck. Like there wasn't nothing up there, but it was you had the ability of going up to the roof. So I guess you could call it a deck. And we would do that on the 4th of July. It is insane because you seriously can see every single city's suburbs local fireworks all in one show, plus the downtown show. So like you've got fireworks that are close, you've got fireworks that are kind of close, you've got fireworks off in the distance. It is like remarkable. Like for the people that are coming down to the game tonight, follow Daryl's advice and go up there and view it from up. Like it is a unique experience that like you really can't get anywhere else. Because you think of like really good fireworks shows, right? Like definitely baseball games, Guardians games in specific, probably the best fireworks show in town. Hard to rival that. Disney World, you know, is maybe like what people say is, but dude, that experience that you just talked about, 4th of July, it'll probably be similar tomorrow night for Saturday, because some of the cities do Saturday fireworks as well. Go up there up top tonight at Progressive Field and see the whole city light up for the 4th of July.
Yeah,
it's cool.
And if you look out toward the lake, you'll see Edgewater, you'll see Lakewood, you'll see Rocky River, you'll see Avon. It really is one of the neatest things. But only tonight, okay? Can we be done with the fireworks tonight?
How about some fireworks like during the 1st through 9th inning? You know, when guys hit home runs, they'll launch a firework or 2 off. But those have been few and far between.
Well, we know how cash-strapped the Guardians are. Maybe they're trying to save those for the post-game show.
They tell the guys, hey, the firework budget this year,
little tight.
We had to pull back somewhere.
Well, I mean, they did have to trade Josh Naylor.
Andreas Jimenez was making a good chunk of change. Hey, we don't have Naylor and his 100 RBI. We don't have Jimenez and his platinum glove. And we don't have any home runs within the game to set off fireworks during the 1st through 9th inning, because we're really saving the show for after 10 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been putting on much of a show now for what's going on. a good month and a half. You can trace this all the way back to the series finale in Detroit. That getaway day, we laughed at the lineup. They ended up getting shut out in that game. They had won the previous three. It's like, okay, we won 3 games in Detroit. Let's just get out of here, and they never recovered from that day. It's been all downhill since. And it's like 7-8 shutouts over that span too. And when they do score their runs, they come in bunches.
Yep.
Like they get 1 inning per game where they score runs. And then the other 8 innings there's goose eggs all over the scoreboard. No consistency whatsoever. And I'm wondering if they have to do a deep dive organizationally. Are they? I mean, they've invested a lot in hitting technologies. They got that tracks machine that they put in this year, where you're able to program the pitching machine to try and simulate various pitchers in baseball, so you can basically take batting practice off them in a cage. It's really cool technology. Clearly, it's not working for the Guardians. Like, this is not a matter of, well, they're not spending money in the right areas. No, they're spending money on tech and film and coaching and all these things. They're just not getting any bang for their buck. They're not getting any results.
Well, you mentioned, taking a new approach as an organization. I got to thinking yesterday during that snooze fest of a game, like outside of Juan, Jose, Andres Jimenez for a season, Francisco Lindor for sure. Like, who are the real marquee bats that this organization has developed? Because we're all sitting here pounding the table and campaigning, myself included. I will step up and say that I'm
you mean the modern, because I was going to go back to the 90s and be like, well, Carlos Baerga, Kenny Lofton.
Right, the modern, the modern.
Tomey.
Okay, the players that I've seen in my life, in my 26
Manny
years
Ramirez.
as a Cleveland baseball fan, like, where are they?
They're all in the past. That's where they are.
Because, I'm campaigning for Chase DeLauter, but how many times did I, and again, hand up guilty, I was campaigning for Bobby Bradley to come up here. Well, I was campaigning for Franmil Reyes.
Well, what's it say about your organization? You're afraid to bring a guy up because he might fail. What's it say about you organizationally that you don't even have the confidence to bring your prospects up? Forget about the log jams. Log jams can be freed up. You can DFA guys, you can make trades, you can clear log jams up in the blink of an eye.
And sometimes log jams are a good thing. That means you got a lot of talent in this spot. That's not the case here.
No. But what does it say about your organization and your approach when you're afraid, right? Because that's been the messaging. That's been the messaging coming from the folks that cover the team. They're all saying it. Well, the guys that come up, they tend to start slow and it doesn't get off to a great start. So what does it say about your organization that all of a sudden now you are afraid of your guys coming up and flopping, for lack of a better phrase, going full John Kenzie Noel? You get a little blip, right? And well, he's back in AAA. That's what catches my attention with this whole thing, Nick. When it comes to the conversation around Chase DeLauter and Kefis. And now Kefis is hurt. He banged his knee on the base pass last night. Apparently he's okay. No serious injury, but he's going to need a couple of days here.
I take Brito as well. What's going on at shortstop?
Well, not a whole lot at the major league level. But I can say that about right field. I can say that about center field. I can say that about second base. I can say that about first base. I can say that about catching. I can say it for 8 of the 9 positions on the field. A lot of early conversation here about the Guardians, their struggles, and what it's going to take to get this thing on track. I'm curious if you want to hop in at 216-474-0092. Are you going to the ball game tonight because you love the Guardians and you're huge baseball fans, or are you going because you want to see a really kick butt 4th of July fireworks show? Because they may not play baseball well right now, but they absolutely kill it with fireworks shows. And we know, judging by the attendance, Cleveland loves their boom booms.
They do.
A lot. They
do.
really love the boom booms.
So, dude, man, I maybe shouldn't tell this story.
I have never seen a city so in love with fireworks the way Clevelanders are.
So, like, my dad is one that would always be, itching to leave the game early, kind of beat the traffic, not stay for the fireworks show. And my mom was the polar opposite. She would always want to stay for the fireworks show. And the one line that he gave once really sent her over the edge. He said, if you've seen one fireworks show,
you've seen them all.
And that was not the right thing to say in that moment.
I used to, when I was a kid growing up, loud noises would startle me. So as a kid, I did not enjoy fireworks all that much. But now as a grown man, they just annoy me from the sense of my neighbors shooting them off.
Yeah,
that's when they annoy me.
My neighbors were doing a little bit of that last night, and my dog
and you can smell the sulfur in the air.
My dog looked like he had seen a ghost. His eyes were like bugging out of his head. I was like, dude, you do this every year.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel bad for the pets. Fireworks or dogs do not like fireworks. So if you have pets, keep them inside.
Yep.
Or put headphones on them.
Or close. Like yesterday, it was funny because like we were outside with him.
Yeah.
Like and the sun hadn't even set yet, and people were starting to light him off.
Yeah.
And he got the fear of God look in his eye. And he didn't run towards, I was expecting him to run towards the door so he could run back into the house. He just ran towards Cam. He was like, he was just
Mommy!
like, run towards her. Sure. She'll bring you inside. The door is the complete opposite direction of where you're running.
The loud noises. Why are there loud noises right now? 216-474-0092. Are you headed to the ballpark to watch the ball club, who's lost 7 in a row and they can't score? Or are you just going to enjoy the boom booms tonight? Let's go out to Mentor. Justin, good morning. You're first up on the fan. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July, Daryl, Nick. Great to talk to you this morning. Yeah, I'm curious. Last year the Tigers weren't a very good team, and then they called up all their young prospects at once and finished with one of the hottest records in baseball. Obviously, we got the big home run off of their Cy Young winner there, but why aren't the Guardians interested in doing the same thing, right? Let the kids come up and play in mass and just see if you turn the thing around, because it's believe it or not, it's not too late.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Like, I feel like they should at this point, because what you're doing now is not working. Like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and you're expecting different results. And I kind of feel like I'm not even mad at Stephen Vogt. And there are folks that are trying to call him to the carpet for this. He can only cook with the ingredients he's given to work with here, and it's not great.
The ingredients are not good. He's cooking with a can of Spam, and it's expired.
It's tasteless. It's especially on a 4th of July, you hate to see it, but hopefully everyone enjoys the fireworks tonight. Have a great evening. Have a great 4th. Take it easy, fellas.
All right, thanks, Justin.
And
appreciate
to Justin's point there, Daryl, to his point, last year, what made it so fun was it seemed like they had a shuttle.
Yeah.
From Columbus to Cleveland, and every single button that they pressed was the right one. Like John Kenzie Noel came up and worked and was hitting the ball well and seeing the ball well. And it seemed like every single lever that they pressed and button that went down was the correct one.
Right.
And boy, this season has just been the complete polar opposite of that.
It's been painful to watch this thing. And again, there's no evidence, unfortunately, for me to sit here and tell Guardian fan it's going to be okay. They're going to turn the corner. They're going to flip the switch, as the morning boys like to say. I have no evidence to even make the argument, let alone to try and support the argument. I feel like this is what it is. When half the roster is batting less than I weigh, okay, and I'm about at a $195 soaking wet, okay? and we are here on the 4th of July. They are what they are. Unfortunately, 216-474-0092. You're welcome to hop in. Let's head out to Chagrin Falls. Dave's got some thoughts. Dave, you're next up on the fan.
Yeah,
Happy
guys.
4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Yeah, as the roster is currently constructed, they're not going anywhere. They're 25th in the league in payroll. As long as Dolan owns the team, they're going to struggle unless they get very lucky like last year. But they're going to struggle. You take a look at some of the moves they made. They signed Bieber. If they signed him for $10 million, if he comes back, doesn't do well, they got a $4 million buyout. So that's $14 million. Boyd is making $14 million this year. What was the decision to go with Bieber instead of Boyd for the same damn money?
Well,
now they brought over Santana.
Yeah.
Who's at the tail end of his career. I like him. I like the guy. But they're paying him $10 million, and he's taking up space for younger players.
Yeah.
He'll hit 230, 240. He'll hit you 15 home runs. But he's blocking other guys from progressives like Manzardo. I mean, it is a joke for anybody to think with this roster, the amount of Dolan spends, that they're going to do anything.
Dave, I thank you for the call.
I was gonna ask him his thoughts on the big Paul Sewald signing that happened this offseason. I didn't get to get Dave and Chagrin Falls' thoughts on Paul Sewald and his contributions to this ball club.
I typically defend ownership when it comes to they run it like a business, and listen, it is a business. Listen, Cleveland Browns are a business. Cleveland Cavaliers, they're a business. Monsters charge, they're businesses. They're millionaires in a billionaires game. There is no salary cap in baseball. It's an uneven playing field. The Los Angeles Dodgers can sign every free agent and put them on the Bobby Bonilla payment plan. The Guardians just can't do that. And I'm here to tell you, when David Blitzer takes over, I have no expectations that much is going to change.
Really?
I don't. I don't think that David Blitzer is going to come in and he's just going to recklessly spend.
Right. And that might be a sobering sentence there for Guardians fans, because I think there is, a subsect of people that are really holding on to hope that new ownership coming in here in the next couple of years will change some things in terms of payroll and change some things in terms of their identity. Being a cheap team is kind of the label that surrounded the Guardians. Listen, they do have their constraints because of what you just said. They're millionaires in a billionaire game, and the TV deal hurt them. The lack of a TV deal this season, we're living through the results of that. But that's excuses. So you could continue to make these excuses, or you could try to find solutions. And my solutions are in Columbus, I think, right? Like Chase DeLauter is in Columbus. CJ Kafis is in Columbus. Juan Brito's in Columbus. Last year, you had success when you were bringing guys up from Columbus to play and to contribute on the major league club. Daryl, the Columbus Clippers could win their AAA World Series this year. I wouldn't care. That's not ending my World Series drought up here in Cleveland.
They've done that before.
I don't care.
The Akron Rubber Ducks have won their league before.
I'd rather see those guys in Cleveland and contribute. That's what those teams are for. Yeah, the Captains just won it last year. Great. That's tremendous for them.
I feel bad I missed that parade.
Chase DeLauter contributing to the big club. I want another parade in downtown Cleveland.
Well, next time one of the minor league teams win, we'll schedule the parade for downtown Cleveland. How about that?
Maybe.
Because I think that's the. But when you talk about excuses when it comes to like the TV deals, those are economic realities. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's an excuse that ownership's lean. No, that is an economic reality.
But there's things that you have to do then when you're living in an economic reality that is not ideal. You have to make adjustments somewhere else.
I will agree. I understood why they brought Carlos back, because they wanted to show fans that they just weren't slashing the payroll, that they weren't just trying to go, belly up financially here, and pull a Pittsburgh Pirates or a Miami Marlins type of a situation. And to their credit, for as painful as this has been, they've not gone, full cap size and lost 115 to 120 games. like we have seen the Houston Astros do. We've seen the Detroit Tigers do it. We're watching the Chicago White Sox do it. We've seen the Baltimore Orioles do it, all in efforts to rebuild their organization. To the Guardians' credit, they have found creative ways through trades and through the draft processes to maintain. That's why I can make jokes about wanting the minor league team parades to be in downtown Cleveland. It's why the Captains won their league. It's why the Rubber Ducks have won their league. It's why the Clippers have won their league, because they have talent. My frustration with them is now you're in the tank, okay? And this is not getting better. This is not a trend. It's now a tradition. Your inability to score runs, your inability to get on base, your inability to even make contact, put a baseball bat on a ball, okay? You can't do it right now. And so get the ineffectual log jams out of here. Cut them, DFA them, whatever you have to do to get the kids up here. Because what you're telling me right now, you're telling me you don't believe in these guys. You're afraid if you bring them up that they're going to flop, that they're going to go through adversity and it's going to scar them. That's the messaging coming from 2401 Ontario right now. Can't bring the kids up because we're afraid of our own shadow. And we got to make sure that Lane Thomas and Nolan Jones gets credit for the exit velocities of ground balls coming off their bats.
Yeah, like what are we doing?
Boy, he
with
really
those
scorched
guys?
that one to short. 100 exit velocity on that one. That's where we're at, right? We are measuring exit velocity on outs. That's where we're at with this Cleveland Guardians offense.
I mean, because I think for them, for whatever reason, they have to find something, right, to try to claim. But no, like you've seen enough of these guys, like Daniel Schneemann.
Schneemann. Sorry,
I know what he is as a Major League Baseball player.
He's got a great name now.
Nolan Jones, Lane Thomas. I know what these guys are as Major League Baseball players, and for a team that wants to contend for a World Series, they're not that, right? They're not guys that are going to be serious contributors on playoff rosters for the Guardians. So why are they here? Why are they hanging out here, especially when we've heard what's going on in Columbus and that these guys are Major League ready down there?
Hey, listen, I read batting averages earlier in this show, okay? They can't hit my weight. And if you can't hit my weight in Major League Baseball, you don't belong in Major League Baseball. And I can make an argument that half this roster doesn't belong in Major League Baseball. It's lousy roster construction. They spent money where they shouldn't have spent money. They didn't spend money when they should have spent money. They won't bring these kids up and play them. And I'm sorry, you were expecting something different this year?
It's disheartening,
I mean,
man.
listen, okay, I'm not going to like. What, Meredith, what'd you say in your last 2020? They've been shut out 4 times in 7 games. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, you're correct. So out of their last 7 losses, 4 of them have been shutout losses.
4 have been shutouts. Yeah. Even the Cleveland Browns find that to be impressive.
The 2016 Cleveland Browns would like a word.
Well, no, that's 17 Browns.
I will
You're
say
right. It was a 17 Browns. 16 was 1 in 15, right?
Yeah.
So it was 1 in 31 over those 2 seasons.
The 1 in 31 Browns won a word, but the 1 in 31 Browns were actually, they played closer games than we saw last season.
We're getting shut out and we've got players under investigation. It is starting to feel like a Brown season.
So what you're saying is that baseball season's going well. Baseball season's going well here in Northeast Ohio. 216-474-0092. It is painful. I want to know, are you going to the ballpark tonight to watch Guardians Tigers, or are you going to watch the Boom Booms? Going to watch the fireworks? Is that why? I mean, it's a sellout tonight.
Got some people saying that they're going in there with bags on their heads. Like, I don't know that it's that bad, right? Terrell.
I mean, it was just Frank. I mean, it's one guy in Parma. Okay,
you gave the disclaimer, at the start of the show. Never say that it can't be worse, because it can always be worse. So, if you think this is rock bottom about the Cleveland baseball team, it is not rock bottom.
Listen, I've been through some stuff in life in my 47 years on this earth, and I realize there are a lot of folks that have had it and do have it a lot worse than me. So I'm not complaining, but that is my motto. If you think it's bad now, it could always get worse. So count your blessings. Except for the Guardians, we're trying to count runs, not blessings. And in this case, I think runs would be a blessing.
Trying to inspire him a little bit here, man.
Listen,
give us something.
you know what?
Give us something. You were 3 wins away from the World Series last year. And like, I had that expectation, and shame on me for expecting a team that I'm a fan of to improve in an offseason where you were so close. You were right on the doorstep. Shame on me for expecting better than the slop that we're watching on a nightly basis with a roster that makes no sense, with prospects raking in Columbus that we're clamoring for in Cleveland, but they refuse to get off this soapbox of their process and procedure and plan about these young kids.
I just figured out, you know what? We need Joe Riggins from Bull Durham. Clear the bat rack.
Yep.
Run everybody into the shower and throw the bats in there with them.
Yep.
We need the lollygagger speech at this point. That's what we need.
And then bring in Pedro Serrano while that's all going on.
Hats for bats.
Hats for bats. Get Joe Boo to wake them up.
For the last 7 games, they've been shut out. They can't get guys on base. When they do, they strand the whole village on the base paths. The batting averages right now are anemic. What's he supposed to say at this point? He's got to sell it. He's got to sell the positivity. So I'm not gonna dig into him for that.
You think he's trying to sell himself on that though? Like, I think that's the complaint that I've seen from a lot of fans and heard from a lot of fans about these Stephen Vogt post-game press conferences, is that he'll continue to.
Well, last night Vogt talked for like 90 seconds.
Last night it was a little bit different, but prior to last night, it was a lot of hiding behind a shield of repeating that this is not who we are. This is a good offense. Kind of had a little Stefanski to him in the post-game press conferences. But Steven, this is who you guys are. You guys are at this point a below 500 ball club who is now 3rd in the American League Central Division standings. You've fallen behind the Minnesota Twins. Like, your record is what you are. And right now you're not a good ball club.
Well, we were talking.
So I wonder if they're trying to sell themselves on this dream that some of these young players can break through with the proper amount of plate appearances. I don't know what they're looking for, in Nolan Jones and Lane Thomas. Like, these guys are just below average MLB players. That's what the body of work tells you that they are. I don't know what they're looking to find here.
Look, I made the joke that we need someone to get in there and give a lollygagger speech at this point.
Didn't they kind of try that? Like, this week, Austin Hedges held the players only meeting. And
Austin Hedges is hitting 100. What the hell's Austin Hedges going to be able to say to anybody?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like,
please, I can't hit worth a lick. So will you do my job for me? Will you hit? It's nothing personal against Austin, but they're paying this guy to be a glorified clubhouse rah-rah cheerleader.
Well, and where I get lost on Austin Hedges, right, is he's a good guy to have around, and it makes sense when vibes are high, when things are up, like they were last season, like they were last time Hedgie was in town.
You know what his nickname for me is? Vibes guy. He's the vibes guy.
He is, but Daryl, like, the vibes right now
they're not immaculate.
Really at their lowest that they've been for this organization in a little bit of time. So, like, what purpose is Austin Hedges serving you?
And his defense has stunk to high heaven this year. He's been terrible behind the plate.
The players only meeting that he held obviously didn't do anything. It obviously fell on deaf ears because ever since that players only meeting, I don't know that they've won a game. So if you hold a players only meeting and that didn't galvanize the locker room,
and they're still getting shut out every night,
I think we're in for some dark days of summer ahead for this organization, and maybe things get worse before they get better.
The mistake, the fatal mistake was, and I stand by this because they haven't won since, was Jose Ramirez getting drilled. Nobody did anything. Stephen Vogt tried to bark a little bit.
No, there should have been suspensions.
No, it's not that.
There should have been pushing and shoving.
What it should have been is Vogt should have escalated it to get thrown out. Okay? He should have gotten thrown out, should have taken the fine, said whatever magic words he needed to say to be asked to take the rest of the game off and watch it from the shower. And then the other thing, too, is the entire team should have ran onto the field.
Right.
The bullpen should have emptied. The dugout should have emptied. I'm not saying you go out there and you throw haymakers and you start rolling around the grass. I mean, listen, baseball. Here's why I love baseball fights. All right, we're going to go here. Okay.
Because it's a bit.
Here, hey, we're going to go. I didn't intend to go down this path, but we're going to go down this path. I don't care. It's July 4th, okay? I love baseball fights. You want to know why I love baseball fights? Because everyone runs on the field and really does nothing. No one usually gets hurt. Nobody lands a punch. Okay, like Jose Ramirez dropping Tim Anderson, like that's the exception to the rule. Okay? That really is the exception.
That's what made that one so extraordinary.
Baseball fights are not like hockey fights, okay? Where like there's blood on the ice, okay? It's very rare. It's just some pushing and shoving, guys just running their mouths, talking their smack, right? That's usually what it is.
And it's a big production too, because both the bullpens come out, the dugouts clear. You've got quite literally 100 people on the field, and not a whole lot's going on.
And usually when the thing breaks up, guys are laughing about it. Like they're usually fairly harmless. Okay, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not advocating for buzzing the tower and things like that. But when your franchise player gets drilled,
yep.
And y'all knew he was going to get drilled. That's the thing. Y'all knew he was going to get drilled. Unwritten rules, no unwritten, whatever. You still got to stand up for him. You still got to stand up for the guy. And when they didn't do it, that was the beginning of the end for me. That told me doomed. This season is doomed. These guys, they're great guys. It's nothing personal.
Right.
It's a good, it's not a clubhouse full of rotten apples. They're great guys. Okay? Just they're not really good at playing baseball at this level.
Well, dude, isn't that the same kiss of death that the Cavs season had when you had Donovan Mitchell on his behind and there's DeAndre Hunter and Jared Allen just standing there hands on hips? If that was an Indiana Pacers player that had gotten leveled, if that had been Tyrese Halliburton, there would have been a little bit of a dust up. And it is just that lack of mental, it comes across the fans. And I'm not trying to say that the Guardians don't care. I know they care a bunch. I know that there's probably nobody in that clubhouse that's thrilled right now that they've lost 7 straight. But when you don't react, when you don't show that kind of emotion, it comes across to the fans as if you don't care.
Put yourself in Jose Ramirez's shoes for a moment here, okay? You took a massive hometown discount to stay here because you can be the big fish in a small pond. Not a lot off the field is asked of you. Okay. It's not like LeBron, who has to talk every single day before games, after games, during games, when the networks are cut right. Like this is a fairly small market from a media standpoint. Hosey doesn't have the big media commitments that are usually required. And I want to be clear, I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying, though, it's a very comfortable spot for him to be in. But the bottom line is he left $100 million on the table. He said, what's an extra $100 million going to do for my life of what I'm going to get now? But he made that personal sacrifice not to be the greedy guy going for the almighty dollar, which, listen, I never begrudge anyone getting their bag. As someone who's never gotten his bag, I will never begrudge anyone getting their bag, okay? But at the same time, he made that sacrifice, and then he gets drilled. Everyone knows he's getting drilled, and everyone sits on their butt. They don't do anything about it. No pulse, no nothing. And so put yourself in Jose Ramirez's shoes. I got drilled and none of you even going to bother to move?
Right. What would you, like, if I'm Jose Ramirez, and it's a good thing that I'm not, what would you guys be without me? And nobody's going to move a muscle. Nobody's even going to flinch that I just got hit by a pitch intentionally that sidelined him for a couple games. Like, it wasn't that they threw it underhand. They beat him with it.
Okay, fine. You know what? You didn't want to you didn't want to come out and do the fake baseball fight thing. Okay, you didn't want to put on a show and that's fine. You know what? A Blue Jay should have been beaten the following inning. And you know what? If the pitcher
pitch the next inning
and if the pitcher got tossed, then so be it. Hosey got your back, bro. Got your back. Worth the 1-game suspension or 2-game or whatever that discipline or the fine or whatever additional discipline Major League Baseball would have handed down. Do something. Show a pulse. Like that's what frustrates me is like this team is flatlining right now. It really feels like they're flatlining. And and might be a little unfair for me to say that. I haven't been in the clubhouse recently. I'm going tonight. I'm going tomorrow. So, I'll get to see and feel it. But like just watching on television, my perception is they have no pulse.
One word, lifeless, is really kind of the word that I would use to describe the state of this baseball team right now, because they had a prime, so you factor in that Jose is the franchise player that left $100 million plus on the table. Like Lindor got a 10-year, $341 million deal from the Mets. Jose 7-year, $141.
Yeah, he could have gotten twice that. He could have gotten 380.
Yeah, so like he could have left $200 million on the table. So leave all of that behind, and the fact that they should have stepped up for him. Leave all of that for what it is. But there's also something to be said that at that moment, they should have been looking for a reason to enlist a little bit of a spark, enlist a little bit of passion, have a little bit of fire in your belly to try to turn something around. Right. That moment presented an opportunity to really shift the whole season, and they didn't seize it right at that moment. They didn't. They let it go by the wayside. Like, I do think, like, what if benches did clear? What if the bullpen came out and, like, that turns into a moment where now you're seeing the bats contribute a little bit more. Right. But we'll never know because we don't live in that reality. Instead, here we sit on the 4th of July campaigning for Chase DeLauter and CJ Kafis to hopefully not be that injured in AAA, and Juan Brito to come spell us of whatever the shortstop position has become since Lindor was traded to the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating to watch that. And at some point, you have to show some fight. You got to show some emotion, and you got to do it in the right time. The reason I'm so passionate about that particular situation, Nick, is because I felt that was the right time.
It would have been it's the perfect storm.
It was the right time to do it. Yep. It was the appropriate time to do it. And it's not a coincidence. I'm telling you, it's not a coincidence. They've been shut out 4-7. Meredith is telling you every 20 minutes. Guardians have been shut out 4 times in the last 7 games. Okay? And when did it start? It started with that game. It started with that game, the 7-game slide. They've not won since. Austin Hedges, clubhouse cheerleader, unable to wake anybody up right now. He's hitting 100. Okay? You want to wake somebody up? I don't know. Hit your weight.
Yeah, players only meeting didn't work. So you could scratch that off the checklist of things that they could do to try to save this season.
Next thing's lollygaggers. That's what Stephen Vogt's got to do.